Hello and welcome back to more Spongebob Squarepants Battle for Bikini Bottom, where last time we faced off against our first major boss battle of the game at the Poseidon and obtained a new ability called the Bubble Bowl. And today we're going to be beginning our exploration of the second part of Bikini Bottom by beginning our adventures in Rock Bottom, the first of 3 new zones now accessible in the second part of Bikini Bottom. The second place we're going to go is going to be the Mermal Lair inside Shady Shoals, and we're going to conclude with Sand Mountain over there before we tackle our second major boss battle at the Industrial Park. Before we do any of that, we're going to head over here to Rock Bottom, which is going to, you need at least 25 golden patches in order to get in here, but of course if you've been following along, you have way more than that. So, without further ado, let's take the taxi pad to Rock Bottom.
Welcome to the dark depths of Rock Bottom, home of strange creatures and souvenir t-shirts.
Oh, SpongeBob, I'm actually glad you're here, believe it or not.
I'm glad I'm here too, Mrs. Puff.
The robots have stolen priceless artwork from the museum. If you can return it all to me, I'll reward you with a golden spatula.
Why do you want all that artwork?
Don't ask questions you aren't prepared to handle the answer to.
Consider the artwork saved, Mrs. Puff.
Alright, so much like Downtown Bikini Bottom, our main quest for this level is going to be to retrieve all the stolen artwork for good old Mrs. Puff over here. And just like Downtown Bikini Bottom, we are going to be doing that gradually over the course of the level. So we won't be able to complete this quest in this episode, but by the end of our adventures in the Rock Bottom next episode, we will have collected all 6 artwork pieces and can return them here for our golden spatula. But before we actually begin that quest, I need to introduce you guys to a new enemy, the Sleepy Time Robot. This is a Sleepy Time Robot. SpongeBob must sneak carefully when we're near him or he will wake. Yeah, so something I haven't really made a big deal about is that there are actually a couple different walking speeds. So your SpongeBob's walking speed is determined by how much you push forward on the analog stick. So if you push forward all the way, then he'll go maximum speed, and then the less you, because like I'm gonna start slowly pulling my thumb off the left stick by doing this, and of course the more I pull back, the slower he walks. And of course, if you just barely move the left stick forward, he can do a little bit of a tippy toe like this. And when he is in this tippy toe form, he can move at a speed in which the Sleepy Time Robot cannot detect him, which makes it very easy to attack him, because obviously, if you just try to walk in full speed, you'll get zapped like that. So you have to sneak up on him like this in order to actually attack him, so long, whenever you're inside his little field of vision like this, which basically is whenever you're inside his little cone right here, that's when you know you have to be sneaky. But there's actually a better way to take him out, is by defeating that Tiki right there, jumping on top of these Tikis and on top of this building, and then just going ahead and bubble bouncing on him from above, like that. Unless you miss, in which case you can just attack him after you land, but either way, it's still a pretty cool way to take him out. Or if you don't want to do that, or if you miss the jump, then you can always just use the sneaky method by sneaking up to him and then attacking him like this. But yeah, so if you knock out the floating Tiki, you can jump on top of the wooden Tikis and on top of the building, and that makes it much easier to attack him from above like this, assuming you don't massively screw up like I did and miss the bubble bounce. Anyway, first piece of artwork right here, that's 1 of 6. We'll be collecting a few more this episode, and of course a few in the next episode. Now these platforms will collapse unless SpongeBob sneaks very across them very carefully. You don't actually have to do that, you can just kind of jump across them like this, so I can jump off across this one, and jump across this one, and I'll make it across. So you're supposed to sneak your way across, but it is by no means necessary. You can just jump across. So long as you space your jumps and spin stall like this, you can make it across without actually having to sneak across them at all. But you can if you want to. Anyway, here's Bubble Buddy.
I gotta say, Bubble Buddy, for a bubble, you really get around.
SpongeBob, the robots are plundering Rock Bottom's museum, but they've broken the roadway leading up there. You'll have to be clever and find another route to get in.
What if I lick all these stamps and mail myself?
Could work, but perhaps being sneaky would be faster.
Yeah, so there's nothing sneaky about how we're going to be able to get into the museum, but, you know, it's a nice sentiment, I suppose. Anyway, to keep moving onward, you'll see another Sleepy Time Robot up ahead, and unlike the first one, unfortunately, there is no sneaky method you can use to get the jump on him. You do have to just use a straight-up stealth method here, and a pro tip is that if you need to turn for any reason, you can use the right stick to turn the camera, which will in turn turn SpongeBob like this. So Like, it's kind of hard to, like, you can of course turn kind of like this, but it's not as easy to turn when you're sneaking around. It's much easier to turn with the camera when you're doing that, because obviously that'll automatically turn SpongeBob instead of having to carefully manipulate your movements so that you don't lose the stealth aspect as you're walking around. So in short terms, if you're in sneaky mode, then I recommend using the camera to turn instead of just turning SpongeBob around like this, so that you minimize the chance of being caught. Anyway, this part, very important. You need to make sure you hit this button before you move on any further, because that's going to raise up a sandy swing hook, which will be pivotal to our ability to get up top of the museum just a little bit later onward. It won't be useful for the moment, but you definitely don't want to not hit that button, because if you don't hit it now, you're going to regret it later. Anyway, the way we have to move on is going up there, but you'll notice that our way is kind of blocked by a gate. So we need to find a button or something that we can use to unlock that gate. And the way we're going to do that is by moving along here. And first off, remember you can use the bubble ball to defeat enemies from a distance. Oh, I guess I should explain that. I'll explain it when I hit the next Sleepy Time robot coming up ahead. But for now, you want to make sure you hit this button right here to raise another sandy swing hook. Again, if you don't hit the button now, you will regret it later, because you'll find yourself in a very tricky situation where you need to swing across the gap and just can't. So yeah, make sure you don't forget you have the bubble ball, because now it makes hitting things from a distance, such as enemies, tikis, and Duplicatotrons, significantly easier. Anyway, next you want to hit this button right here.
Sometimes pushing a simple button is the most satisfying. Push, 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 push.
I know what you're thinking. We're raising a lot of sandy swing hooks, but we're not opening any gates. What's the deal? Don't worry, we're about to do that in just a second. But before we do that, you need to look over the ledge right here. You'll see there's a little roof you can jump on top of and grab yourself a sock, like this. Now, the way to get back up is what we're going to do is we're going to turn the camera down so we can see where we're going to jump, because obviously we can't exactly return up to where we came from, but we do need to get back up there. So how are we going to do that? We're going to jump off this roof by maximizing our jump distance, like I've been telling you. Jump, jump, spin stall, and then you'll land right down here. And now that we're down here, there isn't really much that we can interact with right now, but we will be back in this area shortly. Well, not shortly, but in the next episode we will come back to this area. But the way you want to get up is you want to jump on this platform, which will raise you up, and then you want to jump off this platform onto the slide right here, and slide off of it, and land here to get yourself yet another sock. And this time, don't worry, we will actually be going back up to the surface. I just want to make a quick pit stop so we can get that sock right there. You didn't have to get it now. We could, of course, have gotten it later, but, you know, I figure it's nice and convenient to get it out of the way now so that we don't have to get it a little bit later. Anyway. Now like I said, we're going to head back up to the surface, because we do still need to open up that gate, because we are kind of stuck in this area for the time being, and we can't get to the museum until we open up that gate, which is something we still need to do. So if you just follow the signs around this bend, it'll take you right back to the first ledge we jumped off of after we landed on the roof, and then we can land on this, or stand on this platform, which will take us back up to the ledge we were at previously. And then we can continue on our merry little way. Make sure you don't jump off the slide this time, because we don't need it anymore. We'll be back to the slide next episode, but for now we don't need it. Anyway. So this is where we were before, and previously we went over in that direction. Thanks there, buddy. I really needed that. Went over in that direction, but this time we're going to go to the right-hand side, because the button we really need to hit is going to be over here. So this is what I wanted to mention earlier, but I kind of forgot to, is we have the bubble bowl now. You may have thought to yourself, wait, why don't I just use the bubble bowl against him? Well, this is why. He can repel the bubble bowl, so it's not even worth trying. He'll just spring right back at you. No point in trying. Anyway, hit this button to raise up yet another sandy swing hook. Basically, this is all just preparation for later when we switch to sandy and we need to go across the rooftops. You want to wait until the Sleepy Time robot is all the way to the left side of the area so that this side of the ledge is clean, or not clean, but clear to jump up here. Then you want to sneak your way up here. You can try to activate the Thunder Tiki and then quickly walk away so that the Thunder Tiki will blow up the Sleepy Time robot for you and you won't have to take him out yourself. Or you can do it the old-fashioned way and just sneak up to him like this and then attack him in one shot and take him out instantly. Totally up to you. But either way, this is the button that we are actually going to hit in order to open up the gate from earlier and allow us to access the rest of the level. Also, I didn't time that as well as I thought. I thought if I activated the Thunder Tiki before I hit the button, I would be able to, the animation would shield me from the damage, but it appears I timed that a bit incorrectly. Anyway, that is everything we can do in this area, so now we can jump into this box and it'll warp us back over to this section where a bunch of robots are waiting for us. Don't worry, nothing too major, just a bomb bot and a couple fodders. And then we can stop the flow of robots entirely by just hitting the Duplicatotron. And now we have a Spongebob section. So it's been a while since we've actually used a Spongebob in a non-hub world. So if you want to refamiliarize yourself with the controls, you can do that really quickly. And I recommend you do, because you're going to need to make some pretty tight turns coming up ahead in order to make this in time. Because what we're going to do is when you hit this button with the bubble bounce, it's going to open a gate. And the goal is to get to that section of the level and get through the gate before the timer runs out. So you want to make sure you're really brushed up on your Spongebob controls. And what I recommend doing is turning with the camera, because like I said earlier in the video, turning with the camera will actually help you make sharper turns easier instead of just trying to turn with the left analog stick. Because if you just try to turn like this, you won't be able to turn as easily, but if you use the camera to help you turn, you can make a much sharper turn, which is going to be very helpful for making sure you can make these turns in time before the gate closes. But don't move on too far, because you'll notice there's another piece of artwork up there that we're going to want to get our hands on before we move on. Let's go ahead and grab this. But also, you want to make sure you hit this button to raise yet another Sandy swing hook. Again, just setting the stage for when we play as Sandy a little bit later on in the level. And of course, there's also a sock waiting for us over here, up on top of this rock right in this direction. And the way to get to it is you want to first stand on top of this little ledge, or this part of the rock, then double jump, spin stall, and then you'll make your way up here. And here is the sock that we can get from on top of this rock. Next, we can just jump our way back to the main pathway right here. And we have yet another Spongebob section, but there's a very important trick to this section. So the goal for this is when I hit this button, it's going to be that bridge down there is going to extend upward and create a bridge to connect this ledge and that one all the way over there. The trick here is to not use the Spongebob for the entire time, because this is a very narrow platform, and even turning with the camera won't be enough to save you. Well, I mean, you can do it as Spongebob, but it'll be much easier if you use the Spongebob for this initial straight part. You see where the bridge goes straight, use it for that part, and the second you start to make a turn, get out of the Spongebob and then just walk your way to the ledge, because you will have enough time to just walk your way to the end of the ledge, just so long as you break out of the Spongebob at the right time. And I'll do a visual demonstration of that right now. As a brief refresher, you hit the Spongebob, go straight, and then break out, and walk your way across. And you see, I wasn't really in danger of going out of the ledge there, and I definitely could have made it across. I could have made the rest of the way in the Spongebob form, but I didn't want to risk it, and I wanted to just make sure I demonstrated exactly when you need to break off, so that you can, to demonstrate that you can still make it to the edge by just walking, so long as you time it right. And even then, you'll see I still had 2 full seconds there, so I could have broken it off even earlier than that if I wanted to. Anyway, next section, pretty easy. It's kind of reminiscent of the cannon from Jellyfish Fields, just going to launch things at you. But you see these little bits on the floor, those clearly mark where they're going to be, where they're going to hit, so you know where not to stand. As long as you don't hit any, so long as you don't stand at any of these little things on the floor, which is what I just did right there, then you won't be able, the cannon won't be able to hit you, and you can move along your merry little way, and keep moving on through Rock Bottom. Now, we're also up at the section where we're going to be able to play as Sandy, and then we'll actually be able to finally make use of all those swing hooks we've been raising up for the entire time up until this point. And, of course, we're also going to be able to collect a golden spatula that you may have seen floating on in the distance that we were not previously able to obtain with Spongebob. So let's go do that right now. We'll switch to Sandy right here, and now we can go ahead and float our way across to this roof. As a brief refresher for Sandy controls, if you press A 3 times and hold it on the 3rd press, she can float with her lasso or hover with her lasso. And of course, if you press the B button, you can swing on Sandy hooks, and then press A to break out of the hook, and you can continue to go back into the lasso swing. Just a brief refresher for anyone who needs a quick refresher, since it has been a little while since we've played as Sandy, because the last time we did that was in downtown Bikini Bottom. Can I hit this? Thank you. There we go. Anyway, so if you wanna get that golden spatula I mentioned earlier, you need to swing across this swing hook right here. Be careful not to get hit by the tartar sauce, because the tartar sauce can snipe you out of the air if you're not careful. So you want to make sure you're wary of that. Then from there, what you want to do is jump onto this platform from earlier. You may recognize the section where we got the sock on top of that rock. Bounce on top of the trampoline, and then you want to grab onto that swing hook when you get the chance. Of course, my time was a little delayed because I was explaining things, but either way, you want to make sure you grab onto the swing hook as it comes around, and then just kind of ride it around. Don't press the A button to break free of the swing just yet until you make your way over to this ledge. Then press A to break free of the swing, and you can grab the golden spatula as well as a purple shiny object waiting for you right over here. And now, it's pretty much a straight shot from here to the end of this section, where we'll be able to get inside the museum. Make sure you grab onto this hook as it comes back around, so that you can begin your swing pattern over to, back over here. Take the trampoline to bounce yourself back over to the ledge from before, and then one more trampoline will be able to give you the extra height you need to actually float all the way over to this ledge. So just bounce up and then float your way over here. And then you'll be able to land safely and take out these tartar sauce robots so that they don't cause you any problems. And remember when I said that you'll regret pressing the button if you don't press it when I said? Well, that's because if you get up here and you'll notice there isn't a swing hook, that means you didn't press the button, and then that means you have to go through all of what we just went through all over again. Every platforming challenge all over again just because you failed to press the button. So you want to make sure you hit it while you're down there. Anyway, here just space your jumps so that you can actually have enough height to reach the swing hook, swing across, and then immediately jump off and take out the chuck so that it doesn't snipe you out of the air and knock you down to the ground. Anyway, now that we've made it up here, we can switch to Spongebob because we're going to be needing Spongebob for this next section. And then, oh, okay, let's not do that. Let's not fall off the edge. Let's not walk into the abyss there, friend. And grab our golden spatula as a reward for reaching the top of the Rock Bottom Museum. We can also grab the blue shiny object waiting for us directly above our head, and then pull the right trigger to enter the museum.
Barnacle Boy, are you on patrol down here?
No, this is my second job. I work security. Now listen, if you want to reach the golden spatula, you need to shut off the museum's security system.
Do you have to iron those pants, or are they wrinkle-free?
Pay attention, kid. This is serious stuff. Now, if we don't get this robot thing resolved, Shady Shoals will shut down, and I'll have to move back in with my son and his wife and his 4 screaming kids. Now, you see that vent on the other side of the museum?
Yes, sir.
That's where you exit the museum. Good luck, kid.
I won't let you down, Barnacle Boy.
Alright, so we're roughly 15 minutes into the episode, so I don't want to end things just here, but we're not going to make it to the whole museum because there's way too much to do here. So I think we'll make it probably roughly halfway through the museum, and then I'll call off the episode. Alright, so first things first, we're going to need to hit all these buttons that these little floaty things are guarding, so that we can shut them down and then be safe to move around. So wait for the little spinny circle of death to disappear, that you can jump safely across these platforms and hit this first button, which will cause the robot itself to be destroyed. Like that. And basically for every button we hit, it'll destroy one of the robots that is causing these little circles of doom to appear, or in this case, lightning strikes. This one's easier to dodge. Just jump through the window between the lightning bolts so that you can... Okay, I guess I was in the hitbox. Then jump up here. Make sure you do the high jumps instead of tapping the A button, you want to hold it, as I've been mentioning through the whole walkthrough up until this point. So instead of a short jump, it's a high jump. You want to do 2 of those to get up top of this platform, and that'll be another robot destroy once you hit that button. Wait for the circle to disappear, so that you can jump on it like so, and then pick your direction, either left or right. I recommend going with whichever circle is going to disappear faster. It doesn't really matter which order you do it in, because we're going to have to hit them both anyway. So whichever button you choose to hit, you want to carefully just basically time your jumps so that you're going to land on it when the circle disappears. And then, of course, jump across them, or jump across the platforms beneath the circles, so that you can make your way over to the button, hit the button, and destroy the robots, and you can move along with your merry little way. Okay, I thought that was going to knock me into the abyss there. That would have been really bad. Hit this button to destroy the final robot, and that will deactivate all the lasers on this floor. And that'll allow us to proceed into the next section, but not before we turn back and head under this ledge right here. Because under the ledge is a sock waiting for us. A very sneaky, very cleverly hidden sock that's very, very easy to miss. But fortunately, I know where it is, so you want to make sure you don't miss that. Okay. So again, we're just going to go very sneaky mode here, walk super, super slow, so that the Sleepy Time robot won't see us coming, so we're right next to him, then press the X button to attack him, and it'll take him out instantly. Same thing here, I recommend don't go this way, jump up to this ledge like so, and then walk down the steps, slowly walk down the steps, because you can't, if you try to jump it doesn't matter how slow you're moving, if you try to jump, he'll instantly see you, and you have to jump up this ledge in order to get up here to attack him, so much safer to just jump up this ledge outside of his field of view, and then walk down them in order to attack him. Alright, now we're going to hit this teleport box, and again, slowly walk up to him as we go down these stairs. You can get the health point along the way if you so choose to, and attack him to take out the final Sleepy Time robot in the area, and now we are cleared to move about at our own pace, and make progress as we wish. Alright, so, first things first, I recommend either taking out the Thunder Tikis from a distance, or, taking out the Thunder Tikis like this, so that you won't risk accidentally hitting one of them when you hit the button, or just using the bubble bowl like this to hit the button. Either way, it works perfectly fine. But next, you want to stand on this side of the wooden plank so that it'll extend, or it'll tilt upward like this. Then quickly walk up it, jump off at the end so that you can land on this wooden plank, and then stand on this side so it tilts in this direction. Again, walk up, jump at the end, and then you'll be able to do the same thing here to tilt yourself over the laser wall and land safely over here to grab yourself your third piece of artwork and hit this button to basically the goal is to hit all the buttons so that we can deactivate another set of lasers, like so. And once you hit them all, the lasers will deactivate, and we can now safely make our way up this wooden plank, walk up it like this in this direction, then stand on this side to tilt it up here. Then we can walk up and grab the golden spatula, and of course reach our checkpoint flag right here. And this is roughly halfway through the museum. We've cleared the first floor, so now we just got to make our way across the second floor, and then hover across the tops in order to get ourselves up to the end and out through that door up there. So we're about halfway through, and we're roughly around 20 minutes in the episode. So I think this is a good place to call it off. So tomorrow we'll finish our adventures in the museum, and then we'll go across the next and final section of Rock Bottom, and that'll be it for our adventures in this level. So that'll be it for now. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned for next time to catch you all tomorrow for some more Spongebob Squarepants Battle for Bikini Bottom. Goodbye.